My name is Nickel, Nickel, and these are 10 weird facts about Amiibo. Maybe you have your very own Amiibo collection, or maybe you've never even heard of Amiibo before, but either way, you're about to be Amiibified. Or, just learn some stuff about Amiibo. If you haven't seen any of the other weird facts or weird glitches videos on this channel, be sure to check them out. You can also suggest topics by tweeting me at @onickel on Twitter. Links for all that stuff will be down below, so kick back and enjoy the show. This tale of the beginning of Amiibo begins with Skylanders. In 2005, Activision bought the small game development company Toys for Bob, who was largely known for their Star Control series in the early 90s before they went on to make games for Crystal Dynamics. In 2011, Toys for Bob revealed that they had been working on the latest Spyro game titled Skylanders: Spyro's Adventure. Activision proposed a partnership to Nintendo for the new Skylanders franchise. Nintendo passed on the exclusivity deal, and Skylanders went on to become one of Activision's most successful franchises as a spin-off of the Spyro series. Their massive success bred competition that would lead to Disney's Infinity in 2013 and Nintendo's Amiibo in 2014. Fast forward a bit, and although Nintendo passed on the Skylanders partnership initially, in 2015 they teamed up to bring two Nintendo characters into the Skylanders universe, Bowser and Donkey Kong. In March of 2013, Nintendo revealed the first game to make use of the Wii U's NFC, Near Field Communication, which was Pokémon Rumble U. This was Nintendo's early precursor to Amiibo. The game used its own interactive figurines. In May of 2014, Nintendo held an investors meeting in which a prototype for a universal Nintendo figurine was proposed and to be presented at E3 of that year. Since the idea of the figurine was to be used across many different games rather than just one, as in the case of Pokémon Rumble U, the prototype was designed to interact with both the Wii U as well as the 3DS. They named the new system that it would work on NFP instead of NFC. The two meanings for NFP were Nintendo Figurine Platform or the more redundant NFC Featured Platform. Nintendo did in fact announce Amiibo at E3 along with Super Smash Bros. For the 3DS and the Wii U, which were the first games to integrate Amiibo added features. Following the event, Shigeru Miyamoto stated that Nintendo is, quote, now moving forward with projects that make use of NFC in a variety of unique ways. Nintendo is known as a video game company, but in fact, it is also a toy company. Since the demand of some Amiibo are so high, their supply so relatively low, and several are store exclusives, an Amiibo hunting culture has emerged. Within this culture, tools have been created to track Amiibo like this one, Amiibo Tracker. A tool where you can constantly monitor exactly where the Amiibo that you're looking for are in stock. Other tools include Amiibo News, a Twitter page that works around the clock to update Amiibo hunters in real time on the latest information concerning availability and movement of Amiibo stock as well as fluctuations in pricing. People that consider themselves Amiibo hunters use these tools among all the other tools that exist in order to keep track of all things Amiibo. Some of these people have even begun recording their quests to find some of the more rare and elusive Amiibo, and thus there has been an explosion of YouTube content surrounding this. Internationally, this has turned into an enormous community that has formed around documenting the highs and lows of hunting down Amiibo. Imagine camping out for Black Friday, but for every time a new Amiibo wave is released. In the frenzy to get all Amiibo possible, some resort to unconventional means like Amazon and a specific Amazon employee titled by the internet the prophet known as Esteban. Esteban is an Amazon customer service representative that initially came into the public eye when a Reddit user posted this conversation he had with Esteban regarding his attempt to probe information about the upcoming wave of Amiibo. This is what he said, and Esteban responded with, "I'm a super fan of Super Smash Bros, so let me help you out, bro." When asked again about the time of release, Esteban said, "I'm not supposed to do it, but no one has to know," and then went on to provide the release information. And even though Esteban said no one has to know, the guy posted it on Reddit to a slew of disapproving responses. There were other Amazon representatives that over time were able to confirm Esteban's information, and due to that it was eventually known as Esteban's prophecy. The last time GameStop's pre-order time was known in advance, users crashed the website and broke the registers temporarily. So as the so-called prophecy approached, people began speculating if Amazon already knew that this information had leaked, and if they did, they might push back the release time in order to avoid a GameStop scenario. The hour of Esteban's stated release time came and went, and the Amiibo were not released, and Esteban's title was then changed to Esteban the False Prophet. It turned out that Amazon was in fact aware of the information that Esteban had leaked, and confirmed this with a tweet of a rooster. Some Amiibo hunters, assuming these guys are Amiibo hunters, unfortunately take the hunting too far, even beyond deifying a random Amazon customer service employee. In the UK, in May of 2015, a truck that was transporting Splatoon stock from Nintendo's warehouse to the UK retailer Game was hijacked. At the time of making this video, the Squid Amiibo can only be acquired via buying the Splatoon 3-pack or getting the special edition of Splatoon, and thus it can be a bit frustrating trying to get the Squid Amiibo. Because of the hijacking, Game was unable to fulfill their orders, so instead they offered the standard version of Splatoon with a £10 discount or the option of a cancellation. Nintendo made a statement about the hijacking. They said, quote, "We can confirm that the lorry transporting the Splatoon stock from Nintendo's European warehouse to Game UK has been stolen." Included as a part of this delivery was Game's allocation of the Splatoon and Squid Inkling Amiibo, and as a result, we are unable to honor pre-orders for this item in-game. We are working with Game to contact those customers affected. Whilst these unfortunate circumstances were out of Nintendo UK in Game's control, we apologize for any inconvenience or disappointment that this has caused. By the end of 2015 alone, there will be over 70 Amiibo available, with many more to come. If you were to buy that many at the suggested retail price of $12.99 USD, it would cost over $900 before tax. That's if you were lucky enough to get them all at retail price. But statistically speaking, you would most likely have to end up buying at least a handful of the harder to find ones from a scalper or reseller in general. Some of the rare Amiibo will cost quite a bit more than the suggested retail price of $12.99, like any Amiibo that may have been discontinued or initially shipped with a low stock due to lack of perceived popularity. During their respective waves, GameStop relayed that Nintendo had discontinued Villager, Marth, Wii Fit Trainer, and then later on Little Mac. Each of those Amiibo became increasingly more expensive and more difficult to find. Of course, the normal retail Amiibo can be hard to find due to supply shortages, but there are Amiibo that are even more rare and expensive than anything you could typically count on to find in a store. I'm referring to defects in Amiibo. Yes, having a good defect in an Amiibo can cause the price to skyrocket. What makes an Amiibo defect a good one? Sometimes the defect is something as simple as a figure out of place within the packaging or a sword has fallen, but other times you will run into a defect that's a bit more interesting, like this Jigglypuff with no mouth for example, or this Mario with an extended mustache, or this Marth with a second head. But sometimes you'll run into a defect that's a little bit extra special, like this Samus that has 2 arm cannons instead of 1 that's sold for $2,500 on eBay. And what about this defect? Just kidding, that's actually a custom Amiibo. Speaking of which, custom Amiibo are usually based on a current Amiibo character model that has been repainted, in addition to the character model usually in the form of clay, or sometimes they completely remove the character from the base and attach a totally separate figure. As of right now, these are some of my favorite custom Amiibo. Mega Charizard X, Kirby as Snake, Deku Link, Fierce Deity Link, Sonic Chew, Villager with an Axe, Mighty No. 9, Mario in the cat suit, Finn from Adventure Time, and the plethora of Pikachu custom Amiibo. Maybe there's an Amiibo that you don't really like that much, but have you ever really not liked a certain Amiibo? Well, this guy has. In a Nintendo Nugget interview, a collector of vintage Nintendo games stated that he pre-ordered over 100 Rosalina and Luma Amiibo because, quote, "I do not appreciate Rosalina appearing in almost every recent Mario game to date. The fact that Nintendo promotes her so much and people praise her is just disgusting." He went on to say, quote, "I hate her fans too. I know for a fact her Amiibo will be among the most popular, which is why I took the time to wait and pre-order over 100 of her. I do not want her fans to be happy." When asked what his plans were after that point, he said that he was prepared to spend an additional $35,000 to buy all the female Amiibo he could get. Whether or not he was really doing it for a stated purpose or was just trying to control the reselling market is up to you. Strangely enough, before the third wave of Amiibo was even launched, Nintendo for some reason directly released a table that revealed some interesting sales data that gave insight to which of the original batch of Amiibo were most popular. Link appeared to be the highest selling Amiibo in Japan, North America, and Europe, but in Australia, his popularity dropped to the third spot. Apparently Kirby is a lot more popular in Japan than any of the other regions. The US and Canada had an identical top 3 to Europe's top 3, Link, Mario, and then Pikachu. Although Australia's list was a bit shuffled up, their top 3 was actually the same as US, Canada, and Europe, just in a different order. They also released a sell-through rate chart, which is the percentage of stock sold that was shipped out. So of course for a character as popular as Link, they must have shipped out a lot more stock than other lesser popular characters, which means it wouldn't have as high of a sell-through rate. Based on this chart, the Amiibo at the number 1 spot probably sold most of their stock, which would make them the hardest to find. Japan had the hardest time finding Captain Falcon, North America struggled with Marth, Little Mac in Europe, and Ike in Australia. I'm curious to see if there's one person out there that might actually be able to guess what my favorite Amiibo is. Leave a comment down below with your best guess, and if anyone's able to actually get it, then I'll shout them out on Twitter at @onickel. These videos take a tremendous amount of time to make, so leaving a thumbs up would go a long way to show support for the channel. So if you liked it, leave a thumbs up. If you haven't seen any of the other Weird Facts videos on this channel, make sure to check them out, or if you liked one, send it to a friend. There's also a series here on the onickel channel called Weird Glitches about weird glitches. You can find the other videos on this channel easily regardless if you're on mobile or PC by pushing the I button in the corner of the screen. It'll bring up some video suggestions for you. Thanks a lot for watching this video, and I'll see you guys next time.